Hi. Sorry, I'm 5 minutes late because Facebook changed the interface and it took forever to load. Sorry. I'll give us a couple minutes to find me and get on. Good morning. Sending you all loving and peaceful vibes this morning. Hi, Tori. Hi, Jana. Yay, some eyes. Hooray. Oh, yeah. We're all adapting to what St. Brene calls FFT, an F in first time. You can see that I'm wearing my t-shirt that says, even my feelings have feelings. Hashtag Enneagram 4. Tracy gave me this shirt. She thought it was a funny joke. Who's got coffee? Let's see, I don't want to lose that page. I do. In favorite mug. There's Tracy. I was just saying you bought me this t-shirt kind of as a joke, making fun of my Enneagram 4-ness, but also it's just very apropos. Hi, Zach. Oh, there's Naomi. Cool. Yay. Hi, guys. It's Friday. I have no idea what day it was. I literally had to look on my phone to figure out what day of the week and date it was. I'm so discombobulated. Matt is texting me. Okay. So, as you can imagine, I, as an author of prayers and of a prayer book in particular, this is my prayer book that I wrote, I have become somewhat of a collector of prayer books. I turn to them for my own prayer practice. I turn to them for inspiration. I like to occasionally memorize a prayer. I have a terrible memory, so I'll like memorize it and pray it from memory for a month or two, and then I'll forget. Some of them have grooved themselves deeper into my psyche to where I don't forget them, but I am a big fan of prayer books, and I wanted this morning to show you a few of my favorites. Here's Phyllis Tickle. Phyllis Tickle is one of my favorite inspirations. This is her Eastertide book. She has another book about the daily hours. I think I have it somewhere. Eastertide, Prayers for Lent through Easter from the Divine Hours. This is beautiful. Anything Phyllis Tickle is beautiful. She passed away in, I think, 2015 or 2016, and I didn't discover her until right after her passing, and she's amazing. This is one that we use these a lot in our services, or have historically. This is Samuel Wells and Abigail Kocher, Shaping the Prayers of the People. Another beautiful prayer book. Those guys are Episcopalian. These are the thoughts of Saint Therese of Lisieux, whom you might notice is my constant companion here in my studio with me. That's Saint Therese of Lisieux. This is Brueggemann, Ode to Heaven, Rooted in Earth, a perennial favorite of mine. I think Aurelia gave me this. I can't press like on this book enough times. It's beautiful. If you don't own it, I totally recommend owning it. And then these two are more recent acquisitions, but very beloved to me. I got both of them in a used bookstore in Arkansas on two different occasions. Same bookstore, two different occasions. Lucky me. They are both interfaith books of prayers and poetry, sacred poetry. And the poetry and prayers in these books come from Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, Native American spirituality, many different wisdom traditions. And there's such beauty in these. I get such solace from these two books and such inspiration. So that's just a few of my most beloved prayer books that I work with for my own prayer practice, and to help fuel my imagination for the work that I do liturgically. But another very recent, I'm sorry, I'm getting a text from Aurelia that says, okay, well, don't worry about it. I'll do it later. Sorry. Okay. This is Ken Wilson's God Be in My Head, the Sarum Prayer by Ken Wilson. You may have heard me speak about the Sarum Prayer in services here recently, like in the last, I don't know, I might have bought this book like 4 months ago or 5 or something. The Sarum Prayer is a very old, about 500 years old prayer from early, I guess, Catholicism. And so it kind of got forgotten. It's, as prayers evolved to the Book of Common Prayer and the other primers that are used today. But the Sarum Primer was an early prayer primer that Christians used about half a millennium ago. The Sarum Prayer is beautiful and short and focuses very much on our experience as embodied creatures on this earth. So it's very pro embodiment. Sorry, I'm reading some comments that you guys have left. Thank you. So I've really been enjoying this book. This is a 40-day prayer. So if you wanted to use this as a devotional, it's very slim, see? But I want to read you guys day 9 of this prayer book by Ken Wilson, who's an influential pastor and preacher in kind of the circles that I have historically run in. Here is day 9, entitled An Open Theory of Mind. And I'll read the Sarum Prayer at the end. So if you don't know what it is, then we'll read it together. Ken says, Tanya Luhrmann is a professor of anthropology at Stanford University who has studied people who think they experience God. Luhrmann says such people have a different, quote, theory of mind, or theory of how the mind works, than modern culture's prevailing theory of mind. Whereas our prevailing theory of mind is naturalistic, that is, subject only to the influences of the natural world, including our own bodies, those who are open to experiencing God adopt a theory of the mind as semi-permeable to divine or other spiritual influences. Our thoughts may be inspired, shaped, triggered, and formed by divine energy, and such thoughts may easily commingle with our own thoughts, all inside our head. Reassuringly, Luhrmann's research suggests that people who experience God, or think they do at least, can be quite mentally healthy. Good thing, right? That this mental experience is qualitatively different than, say, the experience of hearing voices as a symptom of psychosis. To pray, God be in my head and in my understanding, is to venture into an open theory of the mind. It is to entertain the possibility that we humans may be subject to divine influence, an influence that could affect especially our understanding, our perceptions, our making sense of things. Have you ever had thoughts, feelings, impressions, mental images while waking, sleeping, or daydreaming that seem to be more loving, kind, compassionate, or wise than you are left to your own devices? That's what we're talking about. This very old prayer comes from an era when almost everyone had an open theory of mind. In fact, it would be difficult to find someone who didn't think their thoughts, feelings, inner impressions, and moods could be affected by divine influences. The reassurance of a professor of anthropology from an elite institution like Stanford wouldn't be needed. Who's to say this older wisdom, a wisdom that welcomes and expects a little divine influence every so often, isn't a wisdom that corresponds to some aspects of reality that our modern technological wisdom simply miss out on? Let us pray then with an open mind. God be in my head and in my understanding. God, be in my eyes and in my looking. God, be in my mouth and in my speaking. God, be in my heart and in my thinking. God, be at my end and at my departing. That's the Sarum prayer. This prayer has captivated my attention. I think it's a very important prayer, and I think it's one that we can reclaim collectively into our present day psyche and adopt as one that's our go-to, that we can use, like we use the prayer of St. Francis or the Lord's Prayer, and some, many others. Other pieces of liturgy that we use with regularity in our faith practice. So I took the prayer because at Peace of Christ Church, we generally sing two types of songs. And that is because that's what I think we should sing. I get to make those decisions, and that's the decision that I make. So in general, I choose two types of songs. One type are prayers, actual prayers in which we are speaking as human beings to the divine. And the other type are songs that tell the story of the grand narrative. And then sometimes we have songs that are a mix of those two. So you'll notice, like, we sing a song called Pour Me Out, which is a version of the prayer of St. Francis. Make me an instrument of your peace. That song says, make me a vessel of your peace. So I wanted us to have in our liturgy that we sing on the regular, the Sarum prayer, and I couldn't find one, so I wrote one. And I thought that I would sing it for you today. If you've been attending Peace of Christ Church for a bit, I think I probably wrote this about 6 months ago, maybe 8. I don't know. Mark, tell me how long how long ago did we introduce this song? Or Ross? Does Ross remember? Anyway, this is the Sarum prayer. It's my own adaptation of the text, adapted from the Sarum Primer from 500 years ago. Obviously, I had to shift it around and tweak it. And I also just made some aesthetic decisions because of the space that we live in musically at Peace of Christ Church. We live in sort of a liminal space where we have one foot in, the present and the future, and one foot anchored in the past. And so I just made the aesthetic decision to write this song in a very simple, very hymnic structure with a very simple melody that is easy to catch on to. So when I finish speaking here, I will post the lyrics up and a photo of a lead sheet up in the comments if I can, or somewhere. I'll figure out somewhere to do that. For now, without further ado, here is the Sarum prayer. Also, please pardon my singing this morning. It's morning and I've been drinking coffee and I just ate a banana, and this is just not my best singing, so sorry. God, be in my head and in my understanding. God, be in my eyes and in my looking. God, be in my mouth and in my speaking. God, be in my heart and in my thinking. God, in my working. God, in my rest. God, at my beginning. God, at my end. God, be in my coming and my going. I'll sing it again. God, be in my head and in my understanding. God, be in my eyes and in my looking. God, be in my mouth and in my speaking. God, be in my heart and in my thinking. God, in my working. God, at my rest. God, at my beginning. God, at my end. God, be in my coming and my going. Amen, amen. Let all give thanks. Amen, amen. God in all peace. For God is among us and within us. Oh, God is among us and within us. Oh, yes, God is among us and within us. I hope you have a nice day, and I hope that you're able to be productive, and I hope you're able to feel your feelings, and I hope that you're able to have a mind that is open to the divine being in your head and in your understanding. That's your blessing for today. See ya. Love ya.